Welcome back to Basketball, everyone. Before I start the video, I actually want to ask you guys a couple of questions. First off, would you like to see more Kamen Rider content from me, such as like tour reviews or anything else? Maybe check out some other series, because I'm starting to get into it. Like, this second episode really impressed me. I guess spoilers on the review as to whether I liked the episode or didn't, but I thought it was really good, and I'm starting to get into it as well. But, I'm very new to Kamen Rider. I've loved Power Rangers for almost my entire life, but Kamen Rider is very new to me, and I've noticed that a lot of toys on like eBay and stuff are very expensive. And is there any way that I can, get them that are a little bit cheaper? What's the best way to get Japanese Toku toys or Kamen Rider toys from the US? Just to those avid collectors who are collecting right now, who have ways of doing so. I mean, maybe eBay is the best way, and I don't know, but I don't really buy too many things from Japan. So just a question I have for you guys, because I do want to do toy reviews and stuff like that. I am interested. But with that being said, everybody, let's go ahead and get into the review. As per usual, I'm going to go ahead and give a quick little summary of the episode before I get into like my actual thoughts of it. So Aruto shows up to his office at Hiden Intelligence because he has just been handed the president position. He's actually going to take it, and he will now be running the company. And this is when we finally get to figure out who those mysterious characters were from some sort of military agency, is what I was predicting in the previous episode, some sort of police force. We actually get to know who they are and their names, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce them, but there's Fua and Yua. I guess I did try and pronounce them. I don't know why I said that, but Fua and Yua arrive at the office. They're from the Artificial Intelligence Military Service, or AIMS, and they want to interrogate Aruto, and they do because they think that Hiden Intelligence had something to do with the attack that happened in the previous episode. And ironically, not too long after that, or during that, another human gear, or AI, is corrupted by the main villains of this season, and they attack Hiden Intelligence while they're there. A really cool indoor fight scene breaks out, and that leads all the way up to AIMS actually attacking Aruto because he transforms into the Kamen Rider, and they believe he's another human gear, causing a lot of trouble, causing damage. They really don't know what to think because he looks like one of them. Eventually the fight ends, Aruto gets out of it, and they are none the wiser as to who this Kamen Rider is. He kept his identity a secret, and then he has a talk with Fua, who talks about Daybreak, which is this old town that you can actually see, or it is an entire city that you can see from very high up. It's far away from the current city that we're at right now, and he talks about how in his childhood, AI rose up and overtook or destroyed an entire city, and that Hiden Intelligence actually covered it up. That scene that we saw in the previous episode where it was revealed that Aruto's dad was an AI and there was this huge explosion, we really didn't know what happened. Turns out that was during that uprising, and everybody was kind of tricked into thinking something else happened. The company that caused it covered it up. This gives AIMS, or even Fua as a character himself, the motive to hate AI and want to destroy them all, leading to a very polar opposite from Aruto, who loves AI, who loves human gears, think they benefit society. So those characters are going to play off each other this season, which is going to be great. And this eventually leads up to another fight with another corrupted human gear, and Fua actually transforms into another Kamen Rider. Unfortunately, that was spoiled for me earlier on, and they actually had like an entire preview of that scene in the previous episodes. So I already knew that was going to happen, unfortunately, but it was still really cool to see. And from the looks of it, we're going to be getting even more Kamen Rider in this season. Now, like I said, I'm not a really big Kamen Rider fan. I had no idea that there was more than like 1 or 2 Kamen Rider per season. I thought it was just like a one hero sort of thing, maybe even 2 every once in a while, but it's actually a pretty cool surprise. Once again, this episode is setting up an entire season, and they're doing it very well. There were a lot of questions that had in the previous episode that were answered as to, what happened to this strange city that we saw in the first episode that was destroyed. That was explained, but we still have a lot more mystery, which I love. It's going to keep me watching. Why are the villains doing what they do? Why was Aruto's dad an AI? That's obviously not his real dad, so where is his real dad? We'll probably figure that out later on. Why did the human gears turn on humanity in Daybreak? Is it because of these villains? Although it was a long time before that, but are these villains human gears themselves? So many questions that I have. Of course, the fight scenes, as usual, are top-notch, and there was some really cool stuff with one of the human gears, or robots, climbing on the wall and kind of acting like Spider-Man a little bit. I thought that was really cool. We had a nice fight scene on motorcycles, Fua transforming into a whole other Kamen Rider, which, by the way, the suit design is perfect. I mean, we had the vibe of like the monster of the week or robot of the week, you know, because the villains, they just seem to show up, transform a human gear, and then leave. That's what they've done in the past 2 episodes. I'm sure we're going to get more on the villains later on, so we had that sort of vibe there, you know, your weekly episode, but we also got a lot more in terms of story. Overall, I'd give this episode a 9 out of 10, just like the previous episode, because it was super entertaining. I mean, obviously, it wasn't perfect. There were a couple of nitpicks here and there, but other than that, 9 out of 10. Since the first episode was crazy, it was the very first episode, it was our initial introduction, everything, and we had to cover everything. You know, there's a lot to talk about there, and then we're also still at the beginning now, but we have all of the things that were set up that needed to be, so, you know, this review wasn't too long, there wasn't as much to talk about, so hopefully, you know, later on throughout the series, there'll be more to talk about. But of course, let me know in the comments below what you thought of the episode as well. I'd love to talk to you guys about the episode and your opinion on it as well, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.